Hey guys, so last week I reviewed the original Afterburner on the NES and Master System. And yeah, I didn't love it. It wasn't terrible, but it was aggressively mid. Oh, and also, the Master System version actually made me nauseous. So yeah, that happened. And if you're wondering what Afterburner is, just in case you didn't watch last week's video, well, to put it shortly, it's an arcade game where you play as an F-14 Tomcat and obliterate enemy planes. Very simple, shoot-'em-up arcade action. And for this week, I figured, why not jump into the sequel? Now, explaining the home versions of Afterburner is a nightmare. The 8-bit ports are closer to the original arcade Afterburner, while the 16-bit and beyond ports are mostly based on Afterburner 2. That's the best way I can explain it. Very few of them are actual one-to-one ports. Most versions mix features from different releases. So, for this video, I'm focusing on the versions that are closest to Afterburner 2. Which is basically anything that's not an 8-bit or weird home computer port. And we're going in order of release, starting with the version of my childhood console, the Sega Genesis. Funny enough, I grew up with a Genesis, but never owned Afterburner 2. I didn't even know it existed, so this was my first time actually playing it. And I'm just gonna say it right now. This version is 1,000 times better than the 8-bit ports. This is legitimately a fun game. I didn't get motion sick at all like I did with the Master System version. I actually had a very good time. The graphics are a massive step up, which yeah, doubling the bits will do that. But it's more than just visuals. The game feels faster, smoother, and way more exciting. Now, the Genesis version does change a few things over the 8-bit versions. For starters, your machine gun fires automatically. No button needed. It's weird at first, but you get used to it fast. And now you have 3 buttons. A button for acceleration, a button for deceleration, and a button for firing missiles. And unlike the 8-bit versions, missiles are limited. The refueling plane actually matters now because it restocks your missiles instead of just giving you bonus points. And the game can get fast, like blink and you're dead fast, blast processing fast, and honestly, it's awesome. And the music is solid. Not something I'd listen to outside of the game, but it fits the action perfectly. Here, take a listen. And the scaling effects, the sprite scaling effects I mean, aren't arcade level, but for a Genesis game, it looks really good. Also, I love the default high scores in the attract mode. These are just great. So yeah, while there are definitely better Genesis games out there, you can't really go wrong with playing the Genesis version of Afterburner 2. It's absolutely worth trying. It's fun, it's fast, and it's a massive improvement over the 8-bit versions. And next up, we have the 32X version. And oh boy, the 32X. Most people hear 32X and immediately think, oh dear lord, isn't that the weird mushroom that Sega tried to breed with the Genesis in every commercial? And yeah, all I have to say to that is Sega's marketing was wild. Every ad acted like the Genesis and 32X were in some romantic relationship and were breeding to make an arcade system together. It was uncomfortable then, and it's uncomfortable now. But here's the thing, Afterburner on the 32X is actually good. Really good. This version is straight up better than the Genesis version in almost every way. I mean, just look at it. The sprites are huge, the explosions are massive, and the graphics look like they're from a completely different console generation. Side by side, the 32X version looks next gen, which is insane for an add-on. Everything here is an improvement. More options? Check. Bigger, cleaner graphics? Check. Way better music? Absolutely check. The soundtrack on the 32X is leagues better than the Genesis version. Still not something I'll listen to outside the game, but it's cleaner, punchier, and just really, really good. Here, take a listen. There's also an option in the menu to toggle the machine gun's auto fire. I mean, overall, all that really needs to be said is the 32X version is an upgrade in every department. No questions, just straight upgrade all the way. And honestly, I actually love this version. It's just straight up fun. So yeah, we can finally give the 32X a point here. It has an amazing port of Afterburner. And yes, I know it's called Afterburner Complete. And honestly, that name fits. It might be just a port of Afterburner 2, but with all the content that's here, and when compared to the other ports, calling it Afterburner Complete just feels right. Because it is, really, the complete package. Now, would this game alone have justified buying a 32X back in the day? For me, no. If I were around when the add-on launched, this wouldn't have convinced me to drop money on it. But it definitely would have been a point in the system's favor. Next up is the Sega Saturn version, which came as part of the Sega Ages Volume 1 collection, alongside Space Harrier and Outrun. And honestly, I don't have a ton to say about this one, but that's not a bad thing. Most people consider this the closest you can get to the arcade at home, and yeah, I can see why. It's clean, it's smooth, and it feels extremely accurate. But here's the thing, if you just came from the 32X version, you're not going to see a massive leap. The Saturn port is basically the 32X version, but more polished. So what is different? Well, you get more control options, mostly thanks to the Saturn's controller having more buttons, and the soundtrack is actually the original arcade soundtrack recreated on the Saturn hardware. And the scaling and sprite handling are a bit smoother and more faithful. But visual-wise, gameplay-wise, and moment-to-moment, it's not a night and day upgrade over the 32X version. Both versions are already very close to the arcade, so the Saturn port ends up feeling like a refinement rather than a transformation. And honestly, I actually prefer the 32X version over the Saturn version. Mostly because the 32X soundtrack just sounds better in my opinion. The Saturn port is not bad, far from it, it's excellent. But it's not a dramatic step up from the 32X version either. But truth be told, you could play either version and have a good time. And also, I'll show off some of the soundtrack from the Saturn version just because. And lastly, we got the Game Boy Advance port. And yeah, this one's rough. Now, I hesitate to call it the worst port of Afterburner I played. Because A, I don't know what version this one is porting. Because if anyone in the comments can tell me, please do. Because I don't know if this is supposed to be a port of Afterburner 1 or Afterburner 2. I've heard conflicting sources on this. But regardless, no matter what version it's a port of, I hesitate to call it the worst port, because the Master System version literally made me nauseous, and the NES version just kinda sucks. But the Game Boy Advance version, it sucks, but for different reasons. The gameplay, it functions fine. There aren't any huge glitches or broken mechanics. The problem is the speed. This game is slow, like painfully slow, and there's no speed control at all. You can't speed up and you can't slow down. You just crawl forward at one fixed pace, and it's so slow. And the soundtrack ain't doing it any favors. It's better than the Master System and NES versions, but every version after that basically destroys it in the sound department. Here, take a listen. So yeah, that's what I think of Afterburner on the Game Boy Advance. While it's not unplayable, it's so slow. So, that's my review of Afterburner 2, or at least the home versions that are closest to it. Is the game any good? Yes, if you play the right version. The only version here I'd actively recommend you not play is the Game Boy Advance port. But even then, it's serviceable if you have absolutely no other option. But if you do have options, pick literally anything else. As for me, my personal favorite is the 32X version. I know it feels weird to say the best way to play Afterburner, or any game for that matter, is on the 32X of all things, but in my opinion, that's the version that nails the speed, the visuals, and the sound, as well as the overall feel of the game the best. So yeah, Afterburner is absolutely an amazing game, and I absolutely understand why people love this series so much now. I didn't really get it when I played the Master System and NES versions, but now that I've played the more modern versions, well, as modern as the 32X and Saturn are, I completely get it. These games can be an absolute blast to play. Anyway, that'll be all for today. Comment down below if you have any memories of Afterburner. Arcade, Genesis, 32X, whatever. I'd love to hear your stories. And of course, like and subscribe and all that good stuff. And lastly, if you want to support the channel even more, my studio makes video games. We don't have a Patreon. Instead, we just let you buy video games from us, and that's how you can financially support us. Our first game, Nova Rebellion, is already out on itch and Steam right now. And our next game, Myths and Monsters, is coming out July 4th. As a matter of fact, I'll end the video with an ad for that game. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. This is Troy Schultz, the Anti-Gamer Slayer, signing off! Hey everybody, Troy Schultz here, aka the Anti-Gamer Slayer. And the Centurion Dragon Studios has a new game coming out soon. So I figured I would show you the combat system, because you'll be spending a lot of time in it. Myths and Monsters has a lot going on, so let's jump right in. First things first, you do pick a class at the start of the game, and that choice affects so much about the combat system. Your stats, what weapons you'll use, the armor you can equip, you know, stuff like that. You got the warrior, who's for all the idiots out there who just wanna punch shit. Then of course, there's the Spellblade, which is a hybrid between a swordmaster and a sorcerer. They're not as tough as warriors, but they're way more flexible, and get access to cool magic. You also got rogues, rangers, and my personal favorite, the sorcerer. Now, the thing about sorcerers is they are easily the most powerful class in the entire game, but they don't start that way. Granted, max level sorcerers are casting supernovas and black holes like it's nobody's business, but the road to get there is pretty long and hard. They actually start out as the weakest class in the game. But if you're willing to put in the effort, sorcerers are overpowered as fuck. Now the combat is all turn-based, but there's many weapons to use and many different playstyles. And yeah, I can't reveal anything beyond that. Sorry guys. But hey, the game comes out July 4th. And I hope to see you guys on launch day. It'll be released for Windows PC on Steam and itch.io. Oh, and if you're a YouTuber, shoot me an email with a link to your channel if you want a free review copy near launch day. And yeah, that's all I got for this trailer. Peace, and stay safe out there, guys.